India Arie is hating on Young Miami Spin that. I just woke up from a nap and seen this and had to speak on it because I was instantly irritated because I'm trying to figure out what about an India Arie would make you think that she would be in support of a song like Spin That. This is the same India Arie that made Brown Skin, a song encouraging black women to love their brown skin. That's the type of music that she makes, black empowering music. So nothing about a song encouraging scamming would be something that she would be in support of. And her not being in support of a song like that would not automatically make it be her hating. Like I could see if this was one of Young Miami's counterparts who do rapping just like her and they came out talking about the song, then I would be like, yeah, they probably hating. But India Arie, no, it would make total sense that she wouldn't like a song like that. She never told anybody to boycott the song. She got just as much right to speak on not liking something as anybody else who get on this internet and give their unsolicited opinion about not liking stuff, right? She didn't say you had to boycott the song. She said that music got power. The words in the music got power, and it does. Right now, we in the midst of y'all being in lives with Woo Lady, encouraging you to come down to Miami and either get on board with helping scammers scam or end up in some type of prostitution ring. So yeah, the music do got power, right? Y'all are influenced by the music because you be simple and stupid. So she absolutely right in what she was saying. And that's not hating. It's the truth. Y'all just don't like the truth. It ain't no different than when y'all attack me for going against Sexy Red. Women like her, they need representation. They need representation until y'all are a stereotype and non-black people are using those stereotypes against you. And then you want to bring up all the college educated black women. Then you want to bring up all of the black women that own businesses. No, 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 no. Bring up the Sexy Reds. Bring them up. Stop using the college educated, business owning, productive black women whenever people want to throw up stereotypes about you. Right? Stand 10 toes down in all of that representation of ghetto hood trash activity that you like to be pedestalized. Like, y'all can miss me with always calling somebody a hater because you don't like the truth. Is the song catchy? Yes. Is the message good? No. And that is what it is.
I agree with everything that India Arie said about Carisha's song Spin That. And before y'all come over here talking about respectability politics and how it's not that serious, I just want to ask you just one question. Why are y'all so determined to normalize and glorify criminal behavior within the black community? Like, why are we talking about where the scamming ass niggas at in our 30s? Am I the only person who thinks that that's like we too old for that shit? And then y'all be like, well, y'all don't say anything to black men. Yes, the fuck we do. Joe Budden literally went viral last year talking about Drake's music and talking about how he talks about the same thing. Talking about how he's too old to be talking about, effing women half his age. Talking about how he's too old to be making music with 21 Savage. He got up in his ass for that, and I wholeheartedly agree. Problem is that y'all just don't like black women being held accountable for anything. Whenever a black woman is being held accountable, y'all want to say that she's being attacked. But India Arie said was not an attack on Carisha. It's not. This is a legitimate critique. And while hip-hop is not a monolith, like, yes, I understand that Carisha's song is not a representation of all hip-hop, but it is representative of the culture, the current state of the culture. And the current state of the culture has been stagnant since the 90s. Y'all been talking about killing, rap killing, graping, fucking sucking for the last 30 years, and it's getting redundant. No other genre of music normalizes and glorifies criminal behavior the way hip-hop does. It's true. Like, rock music, yeah, they may talk about doing drugs, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, but they're not talking about scamming and killing and unaliving and raping people in their music. They're not. And it's lazy. Can we clock it? Talking about scamming niggas and unaliving, humping and sucking and all the things that y'all been talking about for the last 30 years is lazy. It's redundant, and that's why hip-hop is dead. Why are we encouraging people to be scammers? And let's be very clear, these scammers, they're not stealing from the rich and giving to the poor like on some Robin Hood shit. Oh no, they're stealing from black folk. The crimes are being committed within proximity to the community. It is. Y'all scamming ass niggas be scamming black folk, and that's literally what you're encouraging. Like, let's call a thing a thing. The messaging is harmful, and I don't think that India Arie is wrong for calling a thing a thing. And I honestly feel like black women should hold other black women accountable when it comes to their music and when it comes to certain things. I do. I don't want to hear no criticism from a black man coming to a black woman. Let the black men handle the black men, and let black women handle each other. I feel like that's fair. But like I said, I want you to ask yourself, why are y'all so determined to continue this and perpetuate this narrative towards our community, especially in your big grown age of 30 and 30 plus?
All right, everybody. So those two videos you saw were of Dana and Medusa. I follow both of them, I believe, on Instagram. And I just am glad that there are at least some women out there that at least understand that India Arie was 100% correct, even if It is painful, even if it is annoying, even if it feels like we're coming down on you. We're not. I stand with India Arie 10,000%. I have been against a lot of certain music in the black community for a long time, and it's only gotten worse over the last decade, in my personal opinion. I don't care who has issues with it. I don't care what anybody feels. But I want to point out the fact that India Arie literally didn't say anything wrong. She really didn't. And if anything, her issues with the song Spin That by Young Miami is what we've been saying for a long time about the roles in black culture. And black people love to celebrate the generosity in the black community. I don't know what it is, I don't know what it's about, but India Arie straight up said that she was disappointed that a song centered on scamming and materialism was being celebrated so enthusiastically. She argued that the popularity of the song reflected broader cultural values rather than just musical taste. And one of her central arguments was everything you listen to, see, or eat is going to influence you. And it is 100% absolutely correct. Of course, there was going to be a mixed response because there's always people in the black community who want to argue and be dealing with the bullshit and not wanting to fix it. And then there's people in the black community who understand what India was saying and thinks that it needs to get changed. Now, the issue that I have with the sisters in this regard is how divided y'all are in this case. Everyone should be siding with India Arie. It should not be a 50-50 split. I would say 70-30, maybe 80-20. 80 siding with India and 20 siding with Young Miami. Now the problem I have is that y'all cry about being stereotyped, y'all cry about being treated like this, y'all cry about being treated like that, but then y'all go and celebrate this song by Young Miami. People all across the world watched y'all celebrate that song as a cultural norm. That's not a good situation to be in. And what's going on with black women is what's going on with black men in the '90s, where the musical artists are turning y'all into pretty much prostitutes, whereas the artists back in the day, and not all of them, but a good amount of them, had black men looking like we were all criminals and killers. But how can y'all go against India Arie, the one black woman who fought for black women's beauty to be represented, respected, and loved in music back when nobody else was doing it like that? India Arie has been in this industry for 20 plus years. She understands more than anybody what the industry tries to do to black women on a regular basis. She said this after the Essence Awards a few years ago. And she said, I've been fighting for this for 25 years. I've been fighting against this. This is what happens in the music industry when it comes to black women. And y'all are just giving it to them on a silver platter. And I 100% agree with her. She was right. She was right. And I think it's crazy how black women are really pushing back against India, calling her a hater, calling her this, that, and the third. Not everybody wants to be free, this, that, and the third. It's not hurting nobody. And she literally said everything has a frequency. And music, for 100% damn sure, has a frequency on the mind. Now, a lot of people are saying it was unfair for her to criticize her policing hip hop. They argued that rap has long included exaggerated storytelling and that listeners are capable of enjoying music without literally adopting the values expressed in every lyric. I wish that were so true. Now, I know there are some people out there who don't live by the music and they can listen to the song and still go out and be productive members of society. But the problem is, there's too many black people who don't do that, and they go out there and they do what they got to do. Now, one thing I will say is that India Arie was not boycotting Young Miami or trying to stop anyone from enjoying the song, but she emphasized that people are free to like what they like, and that she was expressing her own values and how much she didn't like it and her concerns about black culture, which she should be, because I've been concerned about black culture for a very long time. A very long time. And the thing is, most Def said it a long time ago. Hip hop is always a reflection of the state of the community. And how hip hop is right now is a very clear, stable indicator of the black community. We are out of freaking control. We have nobody that's willing to like regulate this. We are out of line. Forgive me, y'all. It's been a long day. But the bigger conversation, I want to say that the controversy highlighted a long-standing discussion within black music. Should artists be judged primarily by artistic expression, or should they also be judged by the messages their work promotes? Does popular music significantly influence culture, or does it mainly reflect what audiences already think and feel? Is it fair for veteran artists to critique newer trends, or does that risk dismissing the creative freedom of younger generations? These questions aren't new. Similar debates have surrounded gangster rap, conscious rap, neo soul, and pop music for decades. In many ways, I will say that India Arie's argument makes more sense than it ever did before. In fact, and a lot of women were in the comment sections on some of these videos saying how boring India Arie's music was, and India Arie, you respectfully can just sit down. Da 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 da. Young Miami is a young woman. You're an older woman. You need to not be involved. I think that this is the problem with the black community in a nutshell. The fact that you can't tell these women a damn thing. You cannot tell B Dubs anything because they just run the TikTok and they all just start lashing you out. Like I said, the women I have in this video agree with NDRE, just like as I do. I stand with it because it needs to be dealt with. And obviously I felt this way about a lot of rappers in my time. That's why I don't listen to a lot of them anymore. It just doesn't intrigue me, it doesn't work for me. And it needs to be like stood up for. And I'm so mad about the black community. It's the sisters though. It's the ashamed of everything. Y'all are so like offended by everything. Anytime somebody says, "Oh, your hair," or this, or your weight, or whatever, y'all want to be offended, mad, and irritated. But y'all are ashamed of nothing. Y'all ain't ashamed of anything. And that needs to also be fixed. It needs to also be fixed. It is very much a huge problem. Now, I ain't gonna sit there and say we don't have male artists who need to be dealt with too. I think the men need to do that while the women do this. But that's all to say that I'm going to log off on this one. I can't really think of anything else because it's unfortunate. Like, I think someone like India Arie, who is a voice for black women's beauty, health, natural hair, loving everything, is getting the worst treatment because she doesn't agree with the song that most of y'all shouldn't agree with. Man, if y'all made it this far, just make sure you like, comment, subscribe for more, and I will see y'all on the next one.